You are now listening to the Pelicans Post Game Report. Flash Report.
Yo, what's up, everybody? We up in here ready to spit some bars on Pelicans basketball. But before I do, shout out to PPR, Big Q, and DC. I am Lexxah Drew, the voice of the PPR Flash Reports. Kudos to all the listeners. Appreciate y'all tuning in. The Pelicans are currently 4-2 in 2024. Pelicans are sitting at number 5 in the Western Conference standings at 24-16. Pelicans were without their main core against Dallas. The only starters that were available were Jonas Valanciunas and Herb Jones. So, a lot of extended minutes were granted to our bench. And let me tell y'all, the guys performed at a high level, coming out with the W on Game 1 against Dallas on this road trip. As guys continue to get healthy and stay available, it's a good problem to have. But as Willie Green stated in his presser, having all these weapons is making Willie Green's job difficult? Let's get into it. So did I hear and read that correctly? Let me repeat verbatim what Willie Green stated in his presser. He's making my job extremely difficult. And then he chuckled afterwards. This was in regards to Jordan Hawkins' performance. And let me tell y'all, he had a great performance. He had 34 points. He was 11 for 19, 6 3-pointers. That is Jordan Hawkins' game high for the season thus far. But that's what that response was in regards to. So, Willie, is it your job to suppress your rookies or players' careers, players you don't like, players that aren't known solely for their defense, players that aren't on your favoritism list? I'm reading and I'm listening to this word, difficult. Difficult. That statement confirms that you are comfortable as a head coach to stunt the growth of players as well as the team. This is a star-driven league, a performance and high productivity-driven league. Even though this is basketball, it's still a business. You play the guys who are producing and performing at a high level, and usually that's for your bench and role players. And the players with fat contracts, the financials confirm that you have to play them. Henceforth, why else would they have that contract? That right there was a poor excuse and a sad statement that Willie made. We comprehend that defense is Willie's bread and butter, his default, his fail-safe, his go-to counter move. But offense is still a top priority in the game of basketball. It's not all about getting stops. You still got to get the ball in the hole. That's the whole point of basketball. Look, I love defense. I was known as a defensive player in high school when I played varsity. But even I know that there has to be a balance at both ends of the floor. You got to understand when a situation calls for and have a feel for the game and how to be strategic during the game. For example, if there's a situation in the game where we need a bucket, you don't put in Dyson Daniels. You want to put in J-Hawk or Trigger Trey. If you need to stop, you put in your defensive unit. But make sure it makes sense. Because when the Pelicans played the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'm pretty sure everybody remembers this, the Pels had a chance to win that game. Willie Green, with his checkers mentality, took Zion out of the game after Zion played solid defense on Triple J, but Triple J still made the shot. And because Willie's lack of faith in Zion and his defense down the stretch, Willie substituted Zion out the game and inserted Dyson Daniels to guard Triple J. The Memphis analysts wasted no time to question, in shock, why Willie Green did that. Going on to say that play that played right into Memphis's hands. And on the very next play, Memphis dumped the ball down to Triple J, and he ended up getting an and one. Make it make sense. The math wasn't mathing on that play. That was crazy. It's those types of scenarios that give off that energy that I'm trying to help the opponent team win, and I want the Pelicans to lose. Gotta play chess, not checkers, Willie. The Pelicans have a gem in Jordan Hawkins. I've heard it from a lot of Pelicans fans. We all share the same sentiment. His confidence matches that of a veteran. Hawkins is a champion and a winner. He understands how he can help this team win and how he can help this team, period. Last season, the Pelicans knew we needed shooting. They got that in the draft, and Willie's response on playing Hawkins is basically saying, "Oh, the Pelicans don't need shooting. We don't need that. It's all right. We good." Very similar vibes of when Trey Murphy came back from injury, and he and Zion displayed great synergy on December 1st, 2023 against the San Antonio Spurs, and Willie Green was asked about their chemistry by a reporter. And his ultimate response was to not play Zion and Trey together. And I know somebody peeped the rotations. Like, Zion is typically the first starter subbed out, and Trey is the first player off the bench subbed in. You very seldom see Zion and Trey on the floor together at the same time. And we never see Hawkins, Trey, and Zion on the floor together at the same time. But boy, would that be a beauty. A lineup consisted of those three, Nance and Herb. Man, that lineup would be mean. I would love to see it. Would really love to see it. I mean, I hate to say this, but look, stubbornness and conflict of interest is going to hurt this team if Willie Green doesn't step it up. In a lot of ways, his philosophy can hold this team back. The Pelicans are doing well right now. They are. We see that they're doing well. But we can't let that fool us. Don't we want the Pelicans to be all they can be? A better version of themselves, to be maximized to their fullest potential and not minimized to their lowest? Look, we want the Pelicans to prepare for something bigger, something greater. In order to do that, addressing these game-to-game minutiae is very imperative for this team to have real growth. Not fake growth, real growth. The Pelicans have a good problem. When the team is healthy and available, that should not make Willie Green's job in no way, form, or fashion more difficult. That should make his job easy. Jayhawk's defense is not bad like that, where you can't give him playing time at all. Gotta stop with the DMPs. Gotta stop that. That shouldn't happen. And when you do play Hawkins, if and when he gets hot, Mr. Green, please don't pull him out the game. And you've also done that many a times with Zion. The worst thing a head coach can do is neutralize his own players, let alone his star player. Moves like that don't instill trust or confidence in your players. If it's not hurting them now, it's going to hurt them down the road. Are we really trying to do that? And we've already heard Zion talk about his confidence as far as missing 2 shots in a row. I don't have it verbatim, but he talked about it in his presser against the Denver Nuggets. When I heard that, I was like, what? You didn't even see that last season with Zion. Zion, to me, has always been a confident player. And to see that, man, I don't know how I feel about that. It's kind of weird. Makes you wonder about some things. But look, that's all I got for y'all. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Share your thoughts in the comments on Willie Green's presser after the win against Dallas. Appreciate y'all listening and tuning in. And again, I am Lexxah Drew, and I'm out, y'all.
Subscribe now and stay up to date for all things New Orleans Pelicans.